So I like to get super specific about how to put food first and what's really proven to make a difference. One is eating a pound of vegetables a day. So raise your hand if you are going to have a pound of vegetables today. Maybe you've already gotten a half pound. Maybe you're planning your salad. Okay, so maybe by the end of the talk, we'll try to get more hands in the air. So a pound of vegetables a day. I'm a fan of working with people who have all different approaches to food. I'm what I like to call food agnostic. So I have people who work with me who are vegan. I have people who work with me who eat raw. And I have people who follow paleo. And I'm a big fan of trying to come together and to really see, okay, what's proven, and also to attune to what's true for your body. What's true for you? And I sometimes will have people who come to me who will say to me, I eat paleo. And I'll ask them what they eat. I'll say, what did you have for dinner last night? And they'll say, well, I made this grass-fed steak. It's probably about 10 ounces. And I had about 3 asparagus. Went out to my local restaurant. I think, okay, 3 asparagus. That's not a lot of fiber because the beef that you're eating doesn't have any fiber at all. And fiber is one of the most important nutrients that you can give your estrobolome. So that set of bacteria in your gut that control your estrogen levels and keep the guys from having man boobs and estrogenic deposits on their butt and their hips, and keep the women from overstimulating their breast cells, overstimulating their estrogen receptors, keep us from being cranky and having difficulty with weight loss. So eating a pound of vegetables is really crucial. And I just was looking at a study on the flight down today. It was published this past week in Nature, which is a pretty good journal, Nature. They were looking at artificial sweeteners. Now, we've all heard bad things about artificial sweeteners, but this is a new study showing that when you consume artificial sweeteners, it changes your microbiome. It creates something called dysbiosis, which is just one of those fancy medical terms for a frat party happening in your gut, where you have too many of the bad bacteria and not enough of the good bacteria. So that's one of the things that artificial sweeteners do. So what we want to do is we want to put real food first, especially the vegetables. And if you want extra credit, like you're already eating a pound of vegetables, I saw a few of you kind of in the middle, eat 2 pounds of vegetables a day. So we want to constantly be upgrading. It's one of the best ways that you can detoxify. Many of you know already how to reduce toxic exposure, especially with your food. I want to say just a couple of things about this because I don't hear people talking about it enough. I mean, most of you probably know not to cook your food in the microwave, especially not in plastic, and you're using glass containers and stainless steel containers, not plastic containers. I feel like you know that already, but you may not know about some of the differentiations between the plastic that we get exposed to. So another mantra today is 125 stay alive. 125 stay alive. So those are the recycling numbers that are on plastic that are least likely to contain endocrine disruptors, such as phthalates. Bisphenol A is a triple threat. So it disrupts the estrogen, androgen, and the thyroid receptor. Women with the highest level of BPA in their blood have the worst fertility. It's also obesogenic. And the number one source of bisphenol A right now is not the cans that you get from the grocery store. That used to be one of the most common exposures. Now it's receipts. So that little plastic coating on receipts is bisphenol A. So here's my tip with bisphenol A on receipts. And this is true for about 40% of the major retailers across the US, that they have BPA on their receipts. When you're checking out somewhere and they're asking you if you want a receipt, I had this morning at Starbucks. I was getting some green tea, and the cashier woman said to me, "Do you want the receipt?" What did I say? No. No, thank you. A receipt for like $2. I don't need that. I don't need that tactile exposure to bisphenol A. So part of the idea here is to develop that sensory acuity. David and I were actually talking about this on an interview. The sensory acuity for when you are getting exposed to toxins and to pattern interrupt so that you can reduce your exposure.